So hi, my name is Giselle Thompson. I'm hosting the series Live the Life You Want, How to Overcome Adversity, Be Happy, and Live the Life of Your Dreams. And I'm doing this because I had a bit of a difficult time in my life and I realized that there was more. And I reached out and found out how to be able to get to more. And I wanted to turn around and give back to all of you ideas and practical strategies to help you maybe get out of the little rut that you are struggling with and be able to get on with living the life of your dreams, because it is possible. And today I have with me Penny Beere, and she has an incredible amount of experience, and she'll tell you a little bit more about some of her personal experiences, but on a more career perspective. She has a 2-year psychology certificate at the University of Leicester, a diploma in performance coaching, level 5 ED1, neuralistic programming, a licensed practitioner trained by Richard Bandler, studied the secrets of hypnosis with Richard Bandler and Paul McKenna, master coach, and this is really exciting, and you'll find out why from Penny why these accomplishments in and of themselves are great. It's even greater because of her journey. And the reason that I wanted to work with Penny is, first of all, she is running a program. She's running her business called Live Your Dream Life, and that is such a perfect fit with the purpose of this program, this event. And she wants to help people, especially women who have lost their way, get back to living fully. Even if it seems impossible, Penny has solutions. So welcome, Penny. Thank you for coming today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, is there anything that you would like to say before we start getting into the questions?
I'm very privileged to be here, and I'm glad that my message will go out to more women, because I think that women don't always know their way. They've been taught things from parents and from school, so they lose their way. So I'm pleased that I can put my message out today and help to guide them to a better life. So yeah, Live My Dream Life is just, where I'm at and where I'm going. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So let me start with the questions then. Today, the focus of the interview will be on self-love, forgiveness, and gratitude.
That's right.
So what can you tell us about what you've learned about self-love, forgiveness, and gratitude?
Oh, I'll start at the beginning, I think. For myself, I've been on a real personal journey of not liking myself, not wanting to continue on this life. I was married, and I was married for a long time, and then I was in a very violent, abusive situation. So eventually, I got the courage to move away from that. But it left me homeless, it left me penniless, and my children had to stay with their dad. So you can imagine that my self-esteem was, when I say hit the ground, I think I went below ground level. If there's such a place, I didn't want to speak to anybody. I wanted to cocoon myself. I had serious health problems through it. I had vertigo. I couldn't sleep. I used to smoke in those days, so I used to virtually eat my cigarettes, never eat any food, and then I hit a real time where I didn't know what I was going to do. So I was persuaded to go and see my local GP at the time, and I went to him with these health things, and he said to me, so you must be suffering a lot of stress. He didn't know my story, and I said, I am. So he asked my story, and this is before coaching and counselling was as it is now. So he asked me to go and speak to him every week for a few weeks, but resources, as in most medicals, weren't there for any length of time. But that helped me, actually. It helped me to sort of just get on with life a little bit. But I put all those feelings and emotions on the back burner and tried to live my life. I cried every day for my sons. To me, it died, although they were still alive. But because I didn't have day-to-day, they were teams and they were fun and I loved them. And I didn't have the day-to-day care of them. So I started to try to rebuild my life for them. And I remember going into this bookshop. And I don't know, you probably have heard, most of your viewers have probably heard of Louise Hay, the great life coach. Not first one, because there's a few before her, but the first one that became public. And I was in this bookshop and the book fell into my hands. Just fell into my hands. And I looked at it and I thought, oh my goodness, this is just like I meant to read this. And this was when I was really low, crying still, and, you know, weighing nothing and, you know, not feeling worthwhile or successful or anything. So I didn't have any money, actually, funnily enough, that day. So I knew the lady in the bookshop. So I said to her, please, can you hold this till Friday when I get my wages? I think it was about £10, but in those days, £10 was a lot of money. So I got the book, I took it home and I ate it. And it talked about self-love. And this is where I come on with my clients on self-love. Because I start them off with looking at themselves and I ask them questions, and it becomes quite apparent that they don't like themselves, let alone love themselves. And I use the process of affirmations. And I start off with, I am enough. And some people can't start, I am enough. Some people say, I say to them, say I am. Say I am. And I said, but you have to practice I am a lot. And you put those post-it stickers everywhere. I said, and then you'll eventually go, I am enough. Or I'm good enough. And then eventually I want them to get to looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. I love and approve of you. And the response I get from that, sometimes people hate me when I suggest it because it's too painful. And even talking about it is because I've talked about my past journey. I can feel the emotion in me, but that's okay because I do this every day. I've had the chat with myself in the bathroom this morning. I love and approve of myself. I am good enough, you know. I love you unconditionally. And there are some of the things that we learned from children, that we were never good enough. We never got the grades. We never done the things that were expected of us. And our mothers, and me being a mother, I can say heart, our mothers do what we are taught from our mothers. So the things that we've learned come back generationally. And they're the things that we take on to our children. And they're the things that we have to be, as modern women, mindful of how we encourage and say. I now have 4 grandchildren, so I'm very mindful of how I say and speak to them, you know, and always try to encourage and praise and support. So my coaching is about holding my client in my arms and supporting them. I like to be in rapport with them, and when I have that coaching time, I really like to be with them and support them and know that they are valued. I want them to know that they are valued by one person at least, and that can be me. So I hold them safe. So self-love has many, many, many elements to it. Self-love is about taking care of yourself, looking after your own needs, knowing when it's time to sleep, knowing when it's time to eat, knowing when it's time to be good to yourself. These are the things when you've been in that bad place that you forget because you want to punish and hurt yourself because you think it's all your fault. And when you've been in any abusive relationship, you are conditioned. You are conditioned without you even knowing that. So you really believe in your heart of hearts that, you know, these attacks or this verbal abuse or violent abuse, whatever, is your fault. So when you manage to free yourself, if you ever free yourself, you have to be mindful that you don't take that into another relationship. And you have to be very mindful about not attracting a similar type of personality. When you are mindful of that, then you can move on. And but that takes time. I always say to my clients, if you've finished a relationship, then you give yourself time to grow, to develop, to be who you are, and to learn so much about yourself. This journey that I've been on, I've learned so much about myself. As somebody, I went to a social gathering, on a family gathering on Saturday, and my niece's husband said to me, he said, I love what you say on Facebook Live. He said, you are so authentic. He said, you are genuine. He said, and I know so much about you now that I didn't even know. He said, because your honesty, he said, I've never known anyone go out there and say what you say. He said, sometimes I go, oh, and then he said, but I then think, well, she's doing it. She's doing it. And that's from a man's perspective. So, you know, so the journey that I've been on is fun. I love it. So I take them on to nurture. I teach them to do affirmation. And then the biggest thing that happened to me, Giselle, was the last year. I don't know if I told you this before. I'd been to 3 workshops, one after the other, and everyone said, you must go out and tell your story. Because in all of us, we have a story. And my purpose, I've now found my purpose. My purpose is to help as many women to live an empowered life with clarity and self-love and confidence. But I didn't realise that until I stood in this room of almost complete strangers and told my life story. And I told much more than I told today. Phones in 20 minutes, I told them everything that I've been through from the day I was born until that point. And when I was doing it, I just thought, what am I doing? But I thought, it's got to be done. And that was the best thing that I ever done, because I've never told anybody that I'd come from a domestic abusive relationship, because I was ashamed. I was ashamed to tell everybody. I was ashamed. I didn't want people to judge me, and I was ashamed that my son stayed with their dad and they couldn't come with me because the court said this. I don't know why. I still don't know to this day, but maybe that's because of my purpose. You know, now I've got a purpose, I now know, and it's helped me to gain back my children in a different sort of way. As an adult, we're both all adults now, all 3 of us are adults, so we have a different relationship. Maybe it's better than the relationship we would have had, but it's definitely different. And it's okay, because I can be honest with them, and it's okay. So, yeah, so they're part of all what I teach my clients or help. I don't actually advise anybody, I listen. And because I've been through all these journeys, and I don't just coach women that have been through abuse. I coach women that have lost their power, lost their confidence, want to make a life change, maybe want to stay in a relationship or not, or they want to move to a different country. I've had that. I've had people that want to leave a big corporate business to start their own business, but haven't really got the confidence to do it. So I've coached them. I've coached a lady that she was a teacher at a school, but she was offered the head position, and she didn't know whether she could do it or want it. And she found that she could do it, and she did want it. So I've had lots of successes in different areas of coaching, but it is women. It is. I'm very adamant. When I started, I wanted women only, and then I put a few men into the mix. And quite quickly after, I realised that this isn't where my heart sits. This isn't where my heart sits. So this, anyway, I just sort of went off this forgiveness bit, didn't I? I'll come back to the forgiveness bit when I told my story. Sorry, I just jumped. I do that sometimes. But forgiveness to me is so important. When I'd done the talk, I still found myself blaming this other person. Not very much, not as much as I used to. Because when I first ended that marriage, it was because all his fault. Everything that happened was his fault. He's sitting there smug, it's his fault. And there was me suffering, but it was his fault. So I went around with this massive resentment inside of me, as well as the pain. So it was just building and building and building. So when I managed to give my life story last autumn, August, I then realised that actually I hadn't forgiven myself. And forgiveness is quite an amazing therapeutic thing. And but that's a continuation as well. You know, like I said at first, when we first spoke, that it's unpeeling the onion. On your journey, you're continually unpeeling, unraveling. But so forgiveness, I had to sit in with myself, and I had to think about all the things that maybe I could have done differently,
Mm.
maybe the things that I could have said differently, maybe the things that I added to that situation and beyond that situation, I needed to forgive myself. But once I'd started this self-forgiveness was the biggest growth that I could have done for myself. And it's not easy. It's not easy to forgive somebody when you still think. But actually, do you know what? It's okay, because as I said, now I've forgiven, I really have clarity of my purpose in life. I didn't have that clarity. I didn't know why I had to go on this journey. I now know that why I went on this journey, which is quite awesome really for me. It's to know why I had to go through why I had to go. To now know that I can take myself out there and I can help all these other women to live a life of purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I was going to say on that one. So when you start to forgive, then you start to accept who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Self-love is self-acceptance as well. But also when you forgive, you accept yourself for all your mistakes, for all your good things, for everything that goes on. You learn to forgive. You don't say it's okay. You might have said or done something, but you learn to forgive in a gentler way, and a much more gentler spiritual way. So you're not beating yourself up. And again, you're nurturing, you're being kind, you're giving yourself that kindness, you're working from the heart. A lot of my work is not from my negative ego. A lot of my work is done from my heart. Well, most all my work is done from my heart, because I'm heart-centered, and that's how I work. I just don't really know what I'm going to say when I work with someone. I don't really know. But I get fantastic feedback and said, when you said so, that's good. So, and also when you forgive, you then become vulnerable. And as I said, I've become very vulnerable. I've had to face a lot of issues the last few months around relationships, personal relationships, family relationships, things that are now cropping up, that were cropping up, but I buried them, but now it's time for them to come back. So when I say I'm vulnerable, I'm opening my heart really wide, and I'm letting those emotions drop down. So I always encourage my clients, but to help them, to keep them safe. When they say to me, I feel very vulnerable, I feel very scared, I say, just trust your vulnerability, accept it, trust it. Because the vulnerability is the thing that makes you grow, allows you to grow, because you're then afraid to speak the truth. We all need to, so many people don't speak their truth. So we have to be able to speak our truth. And when we speak our truth, that's when all the magic really happens. People will, I say to my coaching clients, people will either stay in your life when you start a coaching journey, or they'll run for the woods and you'll never see them again. If they run for the woods, they're not meant to be in your life. And that's fine, that's their issues. If they stay in your life, they'll accept you, they'll accept the changes, they'll embrace the change. And I always say to people that are in relationships and they want him or her to change, I say to them, the only person you can change is yourself. You can't expect anyone else to change, only yourself. So the coaching journey can be, you can end up that you've got, your friendships change, they evolve, they're different. But when you're being your authentic self, then you attract different people in life. You always attract different people. So
wow.
I don't know if
that was really awesome. I do have a bit of a question that came up in my mind when you were speaking. And I know you've been like super practical, which is what we talked about. And this is great. I really feel that you've given practical things for people. When I was learning about forgiveness myself, in the sense of learning to apply it, because it's one thing to know about forgiveness in your head. It's a whole different piece of business doing it with your heart. One of the things that I learned that was difficult to process, and I wanted to see what you thought about this, is when we are mad at somebody,
Mm-hmm.
and we're resisting them or whatever, the piece that relates back to forgiveness is there's something that they are doing, that they are representing, that's within us that we haven't forgiven, that we are rejecting within us.
Yes, it's like a mirror. It's like a mirror.
Yeah. So has that been your experience too?
It is, because it's like a mirror, because when you look at someone that you're either cross or angry with, I think you have to address, so what is it that I see in them that's in me? And once you see that, it could be that you're judgmental, or you're or just angry or resentful or any such thing. So then you have to take that back to yourself. You have to take that back to yourself and then look at it. And that can be quite painful,
Mm-hmm.
because that's why you're not attracted to that person. Everything, this is what I've been learning a lot lately. Everything that we experience and comes into our life is a lesson about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
We'll attract what we need to attract. We'll learn what we need to learn. So when that person mirrors something that we haven't quite addressed, then that's the time to do more work on forgiveness of yourself, and to try to let go of that emotion, that feeling, that problem, is to look at it, to take it out. If you can't do that on your own, then you ask a coach or a friend, somebody that you really trust. You just don't randomly say to someone that you might know. You might think you know them very well, but you need to sit with someone that you can trust, that's not going to judge, not going to place a judgment on you. And I think when you've been through a situation, that's the hardest thing. The hardest thing for me is to find people that I can truly trust. Because when you're bearing your soul, you can't have anyone else then take that and use it and talk about it and say to someone else, oh, I spoke to Penny and she told me this, because that's so destructive. It takes you back.
Mm-hmm.
But the forgiveness thing is like when you see something or somebody, or you see a behavior in somebody and you think, oh, and then you think, oh, I do that. That's just, oh, I do that. Oh, no. So then the forgiveness has to start then. But I think that with all of this journey, it's not to be hard on yourself. That's what I was going to say, is not to be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
To give yourself that kindness, like with your inner child. What does she want? What does she want? How would you look after her? Louise talks about the inner child. Lots of Wayne Dyer, Esther Hicks, loads of the greats talk about our inner child, that child that's not been nurtured maybe the way that we feel. So what would you do for her?
Mm-hmm.
If she's tired, what would you say to her?
Mm-hmm.
If she's hungry, what would you say to her?
Yeah.
So it's nurturing yourself, really nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff.
I just want to move into a little bit of how all of this that you've learned about self-love and forgiveness, how is that applying now to you living your dream life?
I have the most amazing, awesome life. I am the most blessed. Seriously, I say this every day. I am the most blessed person that I know. Honestly, I have a fantastic family. My sons and I are really close now. I have worked on building that. I have 2 awesome daughter-in-laws, and I love them to bits. And I feel that that's how they sit with me. 4 amazing grandchildren. I couldn't be prouder of my grandchildren. I love them to bits. They're little naughty sometimes, but they're fantastic. And the friends and the support, and actually my belief in the universe and more has really supported me. I mean, I could talk about God here, but I'm not highly religious, but I'm spiritual. So all of those beliefs have really helped me. But my life is fantastic. I couldn't have I tell you, I am so blessed, really. I love it. So learning about loving myself, when I think back to where I was and who I was angry, I was resentful, I was a nasty, nasty, embittered. Well, that's how I felt. That's how I felt. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but that's how I felt. I was jealous of people. I was angry. They've got it all. Look at them. How smart are they? But because my perception of me has changed, it's perception. I mean, yeah, it's great. Love it. So working on myself and studying to become a coach was the best thing I've ever done, because I started in the shop, on the shop floor as a hairstylist. So my apprenticeship was not about the hair, although yeah, I loved it. It was those women that used to sit in front of me and I'd do the hair and they'd tell me this, this and this. And I learned all manner of things. So then I went on to study psychology because I was intrigued. Why do they say what they say? Why do they do what they do? So that's why I studied psychology. And then so it was a natural progression to go on to do life coaching. And it's the best thing that I've ever done. Ever in my whole life, because it made me help other people, but it also developed me as a person. And I am so grateful. And gratitude, that was what we were going to talk about, wasn't it? Gratitude.
Yes. But
Gratitude is awesome. I run my own monthly gratitude group. And when I started running it about 2.5 years ago, it was like, oh, I'm grateful I've got a flat. I'm grateful that I have hot running water. I'm grateful that I've got good health. But now I use I journal every day. I say my gratitude every single day, every day. And the first thing that I do when I wake up is put my hands up in the air and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As I open my eyes. So I set the intention that it's a good day and I'm grateful for everything that's around me. And it is so powerful. And I've taught this to loads of people. And a friend of mine, who is a fellow coach, said to me, I love what she said. I take that with me. I do that every morning. And so when I do my own gratitude now, and when I run my groups, I say to them, gratitude is not about just the material things, it's the emotion, it's the feeling that we give you. And it's not about the material things, actually. It goes far beyond that. Because if you're grateful, you can't look at what you haven't got, because there is no room. Because if you're grateful, you get more of it. And I've proved it with my youngest son. I don't know if he's going to watch this, but I'm going to say this anyway. My youngest son and his now wife, we had a really not good relationship. I have no idea why. He hadn't spoken to me for about 18 months. So I started writing in my journal about my son and his wife, and what a fantastic relationship I was having. Thank you for my relationship. Thank you, how good it is. And my daughter-in-law, how wonderful she is. And do you know what? It's turned itself around. It's the best relationship I could ask for. It's turned it, and just by doing that, just by setting that out, instead of saying, oh, you know, I don't get on with those two, I don't like them, they're not nice to me, blah, blah, blah. But because I turned it around and said we have a loving relationship, you know, my new daughter-in-law comes on lots of events with me now. She comes to a lot of my workshops. She is there 100%. I mean, how blessed, that's why I said I have the most blessed life that you could have. You know, just the simple stuff. I'm not materialistic at all in any shape or form. I like to have nice things, but I'm not bothered, you know, as long as I have a comfortable home and I've got food. And so gratitude is massive. It's a massive thing. And my friend was trying to say to me, oh, it's one of those trends last night. I'm sorry, it's not a trend. It's a way of life. It's a way of being. And setting my intention for the day as well. I set my intention every day. Today is the best day I can possibly expect and want. And every time I do that, I have the most brilliant day. So my journey has been and is and will continue to be the best ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah. And, you know, you talked about intention and setting intentions, and I had learned about that as well. And when we're in a bad place, we are setting an intention for the bad place. And, you know, when like, oh, it's not gonna go well today, you know, I have to do this presentation, and so worried it's not going to work out. Like without realizing it, we are
That's
struggling.
why then you have to say it's the best day, and I'm going to speak to the best
Yeah.
people, and everything's going to go my way, and it's, it's better than better.
Yeah. It's too.
And like, I knew that this interview would be good with you, because as I say, I don't plan much, and because it's all in here, and it's in my heart, really.
Yeah.
I have here that that I could look at, but once I start to talk from notes, I can't talk from my heart, because it then goes in my head. It's about what I say to you or the people that are listening. They're the people that are the most important. It's not about me, it's about them. It's about where I can take them, where I can support them, and how I can get them from that hitting the ground to running it, and running their own life, and running, and not being afraid to say no when you mean no. That's, a major lesson, is to say no. I think the power of no is amazing, actually.
Yeah.
And I say to people, you don't have to justify. You can say, well, thank you for asking me, but no.
That's it.
You don't have to say because. I said, start justifying yourself, and you're back in that mindset of people pleasing.
Yeah, you've decided it's good enough for me.
Yeah. So setting that intention. I did a workshop in intention, and intention's quite spiritual as well. It's very like, because you intend, and and you know that things. I think when you know, I think it's the knowing. It's learning the knowing when you know something.
Yeah.
And trust, to me, actually, at the moment, is a big issue for me, because, as I said, there's things going on in my life that I have no control over, and I'm really working on trust. So when I slip, when my head my negative ego gets in the way, I say, I trust. And trust is so powerful, because if you trust yourself, you trust who you are, you trust whatever's going to come your way for the best intentions, then we have no problems, do we? We don't have a problem. Only our negative ego has the problem. We don't have the problem if we trust, if we hand it over. Let go and let God and trust.
That's right. I'm noting your reservation, but I'm still trusting. Thank you very much.
Yeah, just let that one go. I'm trusting. And if I have to say that 50 million times, I will say that, because I need to get that into me, that I trust. I trust. And so it's a fantastic life. I love it. I love every minute.
You seem so happy.
I am happy.
I just really enjoy your energy and your excitement about life and about what you do, and it just bubbles out of you, and it's really, really amazing to hear you share it.
Thank you. I am excited about life. I think life has so much to offer us that I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen. It's there. Everything is there.
Yeah.
Everything's there. Touchable. Yeah. It's there.
Yeah. You're like a teenager. You're just starting out.
Yeah. You never finish that journey until you leave this earth. The minute you say that you've done everything, you've seen everything, and you know everything, it's the time that you're going to have to leave, isn't it?
Yeah. Find more things to do.
You see, every time, as I say, the onion, the peeling of the onion, you crack something. I think that I've cracked something, and then something else come up from a different direction from around here and go, well, actually, you know what? You haven't cracked that at all. Because I'm showing you differently that you hadn't even noticed. You hadn't even noticed that, because
surprise.
Oh no, not again. Why didn't I thought I learned that one, I know. Because it all goes back to self-love and self-belief and confidence and self-esteem.
Yeah.
It's just, I love it. I'd love to just get out on a big stage and tell everybody what I've just told you. So your stage, thank you for your stage.
Yes, you're welcome. You're welcome. So there are, I have one more question, a final question for you, and then we'll move into the part where you'll share with everyone the gift that you want to share with them.
Okay.
besides what you've shared already from your words and your experience. So my final question is there one thing, what is the one thing you would like to leave with the listeners today about your message?
To know and to believe that they are good.
That they are
Good enough.
That they are enough.
They are good enough.
They are good enough. Sorry, there was a technical.
I know there was. But to know and believe that they are good enough.
That they are good enough.
Even if it is painful for them to believe it right now, I'd like them to just work on it, just to say, I am love, I am enough. And that's really the beginning of the whole journey. And to look after themselves, to really look after themselves. They might not have been looked after as young children. They might have learned certain behaviours, to punish themselves, to beat themselves up, but to start to take care of themselves and to find someone that can support them through this journey of discovery and empowerment, because women are finding their power, and I don't mean in a nasty way, but empowering them to speak up, to be who they are, to show their truth.
Yeah.
That's I think that's my last message. I think I keep going for about an hour with the last message.
But it sounds like the beginning of the journey from your experience has been to start with I am.
It is the beginning of the journey. It is the
I
beginning. I am enough is the beginning. I think, or I am.
Or just I am even.
I am. Don't say I'd like to be, just say I am, because it states it in the present. States it in the present, I am.
Yeah. We could have a whole other interview about power of I am. So let's keep that in mind for another time.
You can interview me anytime you like. I am truly honoured. I am honoured.
And I'd love to interview you any other time.
I am truly honoured that you've asked me and that I can be part of this. I am truly honoured, and I say that from my heart. I don't say that from my head. I was so excited last week after you asked me to be part of this. I was so excited. Really was. So and I think I even had a tear because I was so proud that someone had asked me this work that I've been, and it's been recognised.
Yes, and you speak of intention, and when I started this project, I took some time in like an afternoon, and I set intentions about the audience that would be drawn to these messages and the people that would bubble up that would offer those messages. I just left it to the universe to pull it all together. I'm just here as a facilitator, and
that's what I am really as well, isn't it? That's all I'm. Just each out, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's been exciting, this process of finding experts who have a message about live your life you want. It's as much discovery, finding them and seeing who pops up and who wants to step up and do it. It's I'm enjoying that.
And who resonates to it all, isn't it? It's when you find something that you really resonate to.
Yes.
It could be, like you say, the series of speakers. It could be that they'll start it and they'll find one person, or they'll find everybody that's got a different message. Because I'm interested to watch everybody, actually. I am interested to watch everybody see different messages.
Amazing people like yourself. Yeah. It's been it's like you open a book in a library, you don't know what you're going to read. It's like that every person.
Well, it's like Louise Hay's book, You Can Heal Your Life. That was the first real self-development book I bought. You should see how many books I've got now. You should see. And because I've progressed on, and the Course of Miracles. Do you study a Course of Miracles?
I've started a little bit. But no, I haven't.
No, I haven't studied it.
Diligent student.
I dip into it, I dip out of it. But I did notice that every book that I really resonate, they have studied a Course of Miracles. And I noticed that a few months ago. The books that I don't resonate with, don't mention it at all. But I can't start reading these books, and they refer back to the Course. And I'm thinking, every book I've got nearly says about, so it's like the guidance. It's this guidance thing, isn't it? The
It is.
trust and the guidance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember a friend of mine had suggested I listen to her audiobook, A Return to Love.
Oh,
I
that's
was
fun.
listening to it. I'm like, oh, okay, I remember this stuff, but it's been a long time.
That Return to Love, Marianne
Yeah,
Williamson.
yeah. So I did find it very helpful.
So did I.
Yeah.
And
But I didn't study it. I know there are people who, you know, it's almost like the Iron Man kind of thing where they study it from beginning to end, and it's very emotionally demanding. And I have not taken on that task.
It's worth going back to it, because I go back to it occasionally. That's like one of my books. And I like Gabby Bernstein as well. She's good.
Who?
Gabby Bernstein. She works from Course of Miracles as well.
Okay.
I could write a whole book list.
A new topic. Now we have 2 topics.
Yeah, I could actually. I should do that on my website, really. A suggested book reading.
Yeah, that's great. Count me in, because I've got a long list. I've got like 1,500 books in my Kindle.
Oh, I probably have now. I have an addiction. I have to like, don't buy any more. I bought 2 last week. Don't buy any more.
Yeah. So let's talk about your free gift.
Well, my free gift is I'm going to do a document thing, I don't know what you call it, to go on my website, and building the life that you deserve. And that is starting it, and it's a 5-step program.
Wow.
And so it's like a new beginning, and it covers virtually what I've said, actually, but in more depth, more detail.
Wow.
Well, I've sort of got a brief bit, but then if they want more, I can help them with more.
Sure.
So we start with nurturing, affirmation, forgiveness, and I'll just turn it over. Gratitude again,
Yes.
Gratitude in deep depth, and forgiveness deeper. Because as I said, I'll just go on to the last bit first. Peace, inner peace, confidence, and trust. I'd forgotten about trust. So trust, about trusting yourself, trusting.
Mm-hmm.
Trust is major.
Yeah.
But every time I think about my work, my purpose, my work, the 3 things that do come up is self-love, forgiveness, gratitude. But actually now I'm going to have to add to that is trust.
Yes.
Because I'm really exploring it. So it's a process.
Okay.
It is a process of recovery, if that's one of the better words.
Sure. So
I wouldn't have said I was emotionally sick. I was emotionally ill. I wasn't physically, but I was emotionally. So for me, they were the things that got me to where I am now. So if people want to hook up on my website, shall I give that out?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's www.liveyourdreamlifecoaching.co.uk.
Yes.
And then we'll get the 5-step program.
Yes. And we'll have the URL or the web link posted as well.
Yeah.
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 That's a lovely gift. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Penny.
Thank you.
So I want to thank you for taking the time today, for coming and letting me interview you, and also the time you gave me earlier last week for us to hone a little bit where we would invest your time. And it's just been really helpful and very informative and inspiring. So thank you so much, Penny.
Thank you.
Time and energy. And I want to thank the audience too for listening today. And there are a lot of little gems that Penny has left for you to try and apply. And of course, you can reach out to Penny as well if you'd like. And do stay tuned for other interviews with other amazing, incredible experts who reflect on their own life experience as they provide and give service to people who were where they used to be. In a lot of cases, not always, but it was very important for me to bring to the table people who have practical, real life experience and real practical strategies to share with you that they've tried, that have worked for them. So stay tuned for more of our amazing interviews. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.